Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, and welcome if you're new to my channel. My name is Lena, and we are here reviewing, recapping, revisiting the original series, Sex and the City, because the majority of the people that I've curated in my community, my beautiful community, are here because of the disdain that we had for the reboot. And just like that. So for those who are new to the channel, which by the way, welcome, because what I said last week actually worked. And I thank everyone that took the time to actually subscribe, because I normally don't just go out and say, please subscribe. But this time, my last video, I did. And I got 3 new subscribers. And I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thankfully, hopefully, it will be a great deal to me to be monetized in order for me to continue to do this in the capacity that I'm doing it in, because unfortunately, I don't get paid to do this. I'm doing this out of love. The fact that my community, the one that has stuck by me since And Just Like That, has been here, and we have decided to recap every single episode of every single season for the original series. At the end of the day, I'm still doing this for free. And it would be great if I can become monetized and make some money off of this, because this has become, or it's going to become, my bread and butter as I grow this channel and pivot to other videos that I am dropping in between doing these, different episodes, because I have to. At the end of the day, I don't want to be known just as a one-trick pony for the And Just Like That and the Sex and the City. The whole purpose of this channel was to rate different TV shows and movies. It's just unfortunate that there's not many out there other than old TV shows and movies that are there even worth my time rating. So first of all, thank you everyone who took the time out to subscribe. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, but you've been following along, it would really mean a lot if you took the time. It's free. Just go ahead, press that subscribe button, that like. If you want to share, if you want to comment. I have an amazing community with amazing people who comment all the time. We are very, very much into this, and I cannot appreciate them any more than I have in every single video. So kudos to you guys who have been sticking by me. I really do appreciate it. And for the ones who are new, who are just finding this channel, which ironically is still somewhat happening, not as much as I would like to with the YouTube algorithm, and this is your first video that you're jumping into, I do recommend that you go into my playlist, which is linked at the end of the video, and I'll link it in below, in the pinned comment, and check out the first season that we reviewed, because we're doing it season by season, episode by episode, and they're easy to catch up with. I bring a little bit of humor. I bring in a little bit of my commentary. For the formatting, it is me reviewing this as I remember it from 1999, 98 actually, and where I was at that point in my life with my son, my girlfriends that were coming over every Friday night, and we were watching it. I was watched it because I didn't start watching this series until season 2, which is the season that we're in right now. And I wasn't that much of a fan when I first came out. I'm like, what is this? Why am I watching this? And it was not until I was able to understand season 1 to appreciate how far we go into the next seasons. And we're getting to the crux of it. This is just the beginning, because this series goes really, really deep, and which is why all of us, at least in my community, hated the reboot. But we're here to share the love for the reboot. Oh, ooh. Bad girl. Not the love for the reboot, the love for the series. Ooh, mea culpa. My apologies. So I hope that you enjoy this. I know that my fans normally do, and I thank you for that. And if you're on the fence, take a look at some of my other videos. Talk to my community. They are more helpful. They're kind. They're funnier than I am. Sometimes they come up with stuff that I don't even know what they're talking about. I'm like, how the hell did you come up with that? It's a safe space. Okay. And you can have your opinion. You can have your disagreement, but I'm telling you right now, majority of the people here do respect each other, and I respect that. So I hope that you consider subscribing. 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, which, by the way, is not that long. I know you're all in denial, but have you seen the stores? They have Christmas stuff already out. I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to get into that rant. That's another story for another day. So before we start getting into the series, for those who were watching my launch of my merch, it was the Printify samples that I created the video about a week ago. I did get my samples of my merch, more of them, and I'm actually wearing one of my shirts, which I said I wanted to try because I wanted to make sure that it was good quality, and I am super impressed with Printify. I really am. Now, maybe other print-on-demand shops work well. You know, I've decided to go with Printify, and I have my link to my shop on the pinned comment as well. And there's different types of merch. So I'm going to try to show you the shirt that I created. And I know that it's a little out there. It's not for everyone. I do have to adjust it because I wanted the wording to come up here, but I needed to see the sample first. So quick review. I'm going to stand up. Sorry. And I have to move you guys. It's annoying, but this is the only way. Hee 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 hee. And it says, born before the internet, my secrets are safe. Now, of course, it's probably not a mirror. It's a mirror image, so you see it in reverse. But I have the picture on my actual store, and I have to align the wording a little bit higher. I am blessed. Let me put you back down, guys. I am blessed in the Caste region, as you can see. And, you know, because of that, I think that it falls a different way, and it will fall a different way for many people. But I think if I just adjust it a little bit more and I move the graphic and change it a little bit smaller and change the font, that it will be readable. And the color, I love the color pink for the shirt. I just think that the color itself, though it's popping on camera, when you look at it up close, it's a little dark. So I think I'm going to go with a much lighter pink so it really pops. So give me some time if you guys are interested in the t-shirt, but I can tell you that the quality of the shirt and the quality of the printing is really well done. I haven't washed it yet, but look, I love the 3/4 sleeves. It feels great. I was impressed. I'm going to do now sweatshirts because we are getting into the winter season, and I'm going to be changing it up. I've added puzzles for those who are interested in puzzles in my merch store. I added pets. I am working on non-holiday items for those who are not into the holidays. So it's an ever-growing merch print-on-demand type of scenario because I'm just getting into it. So anybody who's willing to check it out, let me know how it turns out. If you order anything, I can tell you that I am going to do another video on the other 3 samples that I received. It's not just this, but I wanted to show you my t-shirt. Okay, let's get into it. This one is Season 2, Episode 10. We have 8 more to go. It is called The Caste System. And this one was written by Darren Star. In this episode, Samantha gets to try out a different kind of dim sum. Charlotte becomes a fan club girl for a movie star, completely out of her element. Carrie and Big have an issue that is going to curl like milk. It's not going to age very well. And Miranda has decided that she is going to be a sugar mama. It's the best way I can put it. So if you are interested, you know what's next, right? Stay tuned. It's spring, and the scene opens with Carrie narrating how beautiful New York City is in the spring, the beginning, and it shows Central Park. For all those who know me and have been following me, you know that Central Park is my jam. I love Central Park in the spring, in the fall, in the winter. Spring, fall, winter, summer. I'm not a summer girl. I'm not a sun worshiper, which is why I don't go out too much in the sun. It's not my thing. But when you do go out to Central Park and you enjoy just that whole beautiful essence, I love the opening scene of it. And as she narrates, she's saying that there's nothing else more beautiful and it's very easy to love New York. What is not easy is her and Big. Oh God. So, so her saying I love you to Big seems to be an ongoing theme in this entire episode. So here we go. The first time that she realized that she loved Mr. Big is over breakfast, which is, I'm calling BS. Because if anybody remembers, especially since I pointed it out in my last episode of season 1, where, you know, she leaves him literally on his own to go to a trip because he wouldn't say that she's the one. She told him, I love you. He didn't react, and it was out of her being in pain. But let's not go over the semantics because we have to let that go in this entire show because semantics out the window. So, you know, she's flirting and he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, nothing. And she's taking food out of his mouth and yeah, whatever. The second time is when she wanted to tell him, I love you. And it was when he took her out to a ballet, which he hates. And he's complaining that, jokingly, he could swear that he saw these guys flying around on wires. And she's like, they're not wearing wires. And she wanted to tell him I love him. So she stops him. And instead of saying, I love you, she goes, I love. And then she starts messing with his hair. And he's like, come on, stop it. She's annoying. Okay. And then the third time is when she said it to him in the most unexpected way. And I don't blame her. So she's getting ready for Big to pick her up to go to dinner. And she's prancing around in her closet as the door rings. He comes in and he's like, listen, we're going to be late. And she wants to change her shoes. And she's like, if we catch a cab on Madison Avenue, we can get there in 5 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, one, then why do you need to catch a cab if you can get there in 5 minutes? But let's even go further. Doesn't Big have a limo? I'm assuming maybe he didn't have his limo that day, but I just found that sentence to be odd. And it was like force placed to make this scene make sense. Okay. Because I pay attention to everything. I have to. Because the show will mess you up. Okay? You will go back crack crazy. You're like, wait a minute. Hold on. Back it up. Back of the trucker up. Okay? So as she's in her closet, he's like, here. I got this for you. She's like, oh my God. Because, you know, every time he gives her a gift other than buying the penthouse in the movie, she always complains about everything he ever gives her. Always. So she's like, what is this? He's like, oh, it's just something I thought about you when I saw it. And she's like, oh, excited. She opens it. And what is that? What is that? Even her, she's like, no, wrong. And because she was so stunned, she says, I love you. Then we pop into the favorite part of my entire show with the girls together. And as that monstrosity of a duck purse is on the table, Samantha's like, you told Big I love you because he gave you this. What did you think this was? A big diamond duck ring? I couldn't stop laughing. This is why, you know, writing is a huge part of a success of a show. Okay. Without that, there's no delivery in the world that's going to save you. But the second part is the delivery of it. And Samantha always comes through because you have to have it. It's simpatico. They're together, you know, symbiotic. You have to have both, right? So great. So, you know, Carrie's like, yes, I didn't think that. I told him I love him. And then Charlotte's like, well, did he think that maybe you thought you said, I love it? She goes, no. It was a very clearly defined, I love you. And, Charlotte, she's like, Samantha's like, how long are you going to give it to, no, Charlotte says, how long are you going to give it before you have to say it? Because one of the things that Carrie's saying is like, she threw down the gauntlet and now he either has to say it or she needs to break up with him. So what's the time frame here? So in Carrie's mind, the time frame is that it's like dairy product. It's going to start to curl in about a week or so if he doesn't respond back as with an I love you. Got it. So now we have Miranda, who apparently has become the new Charlotte because she's so much in love with Steve. She goes, wait a minute. Do you, and I swear to God, she said it this way, the Charlotte way. Do you think that Mr. Big is right now trying to figure out how to tell you I love you? And everyone is looking at Miranda like, who are you and what you do with Miranda? It's like completely, that's what happens when you're in love. You know, for the 5 minutes that she is in love with Steve in this series. Mm-hmm. And everybody was so disturbed that poor Carrie's like, no, sweetie, no. Because everybody's like, what the bloody hell is happening with Miranda? Mm-hmm. Next up, we get to see what the bloody hell is happening with Miranda and Steve. And how, well, that turns out. Because, you know, this is Sex and the City. It never turns out well. Guess what? I know you all love it when I say this. So I'm going to say it. They don't. Okay, let's figure out what is the love bomb that Miranda is in. Okay, so the next thing we have is that we have her and Steve eating at a pizzeria, Ray's Pizza, very famous pizzeria in New York City, for those who don't know, and there's many who don't. And one of the narrations of Carrie is that Miranda lets him take her out every once in a while to places that she knows that he can afford. So pizza is one of the items that he can afford. Okay. Now, full stop. I am not going to get into what is the best pizza, what type of pizza, or where it is in New York. I can't, because I have my own preference. I have the way I like to eat pizza, and everybody has their own way of and the style that they want to eat pizza. I can tell you this much. My pizza, the bottom crust needs to be crispy. I need the crust to be crispy. I like it when the cheese is dark and curling. I like when the tip is slightly, you're able to fold it and that tip slightly hangs over. And I like that crunch when you get into it. And I don't like it too oily, but it has to have some oil. Everybody has their own way of eating pizza, but that's the pizza for me. Okay. And I know exactly where I go. It's different places. If you want me to do a video on that, I'll let you know. And I'll be happy to share that with you. And I do like gourmet pizza. I love pizza that, and not just the regular pizza, like the cheese and all that. I can eat that all day, but unfortunately I can't because of my diabetes. But, oh God, I miss New York City pizza. My God. I'm sorry. Back to reality. Gourmet pizza for me. I love goat cheese with caramelized onions on it. Fresh mozzarella, basil. You know, I'm not a big pepperoni girl or sausage. If you put a freaking pineapple on my pizza, I'm going to smack you with it. Don't you dare ever offer me a pineapple pizza. Not that pizza. And yes, that is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So the narration continues that Miranda is dating Steve, who adores her. So as she's outside of Ray's Pizza, sitting outside, he comes over and, you know, she's like, good pizza. The fakest I ever heard in my life. He goes, this is a great slice, isn't it? She goes, yes. Listen, my firm is going to have an annual dinner and I would like for you to come. Do you think the bar can spare you for an evening? He goes, yeah. And then she asks, do you have, I think you should wear a suit. He goes, oh, it's a fancy one. I say all this because this is what I don't understand about this whole episode. Okay. He says that he has a gold suit. And she's like, gold? He goes, yeah, like corduroy. First of all, what? It's 1999. It's not 1979. Who still has a corduroy suit in gold? I would have reacted the same way. She's like, oh, okay. And my second point is, if you let him take you out to only places that you know that he can afford, wouldn't it be odd for you to ask him about going with you to this fancy place and be shocked that he doesn't have a proper suit? I don't know. I just felt like this was very forced for what's about to happen. So the narration continues that Steve takes Miranda to his place for the first time ever. Do you see what's happening here? Typical. It's like a basement apartment in New York City, Manhattan. Okay. And she's complete shock. And he's like, yeah, I mirrored it to look like Taxi Driver, the movie. Yeah. Yeah, he did. Have you ever seen the movie Taxi Driver? When he said that, I literally stood in my tracks. I'm like, holy crap, it really does look like Taxi Driver. And she turns around. He's like, no, I'm kidding. I'm like, were you, Steve? The television still has rabbit ear antennas on it. Let's start that. Okay. And he's like, listen, it's close to the bar. It's convenient and you'll never have to come here again. And she's like, and they proceed to have relations on the bed. And as Carrie narrates, this is the first time that Miranda felt the pangs of yuppie guilt. Okay. The next scene we have is with the ladies who are getting their footsies done at a pedicure. And Charlotte proclaims that, hey, a lot of artists do end up, are bartenders and they end up making a lot of money. And Miranda's like, no. He's not an artist / bartender. He's just a bartender. That's it. He's very happy with what he's doing in his life. Great. Samantha has the presence of mind and say, hey, how's the sex? And Miranda's like, it's just like nothing I've ever experienced in my life. Good God. Okay. Remember her, Miranda? You know. And Samantha's like, sounds like a great relationship to me. And then, Charlotte is like, yeah, but I can't believe that you're with somebody whose whole life is dependent on tips. That just set Carrie off. And Carrie's like, and I'm paraphrasing, guys. Okay. Remember, I'm doing this off of memory, not script. Carrie's like, that's not true. There's a lot of men who date women who don't have money. Look at me and Big. It's about compatibility. Look at you and Big. Stay in the river Denal. And Charlotte's like, yeah, but that's different. It's normal for a man to make more money than a woman. And here goes Samantha. She's like, excuse me. I know a lot of women who make a lot more money than their husbands. I don't know any of them. I've never met it. Not verbally. Maybe they are. But most of my friends, it wasn't like that. So, the whole point of this is that Charlotte says, yeah, see, but you're talking a little bit more deeper than just, the difference in money. You're talking about the difference in society. He's working class. It's about, education and background. And Carrie's like, honey, this is the millennium. We don't say working class anymore. I'm very proud to be working class. My son is working class. My family is working class. But I get what she's saying because I've worked for rich people and they really do look down on the working class. To this day. Isn't that the whole purpose of our society at this point? And, Miranda's like, it doesn't matter to me. I just don't want to feel guilty about my success. I want to be able to appreciate it and enjoy it. And Samantha's like, bravo, bravo. Charlotte says, yeah, but y'all are acting like we don't live in a casteless society. Because then she looks at the women doing their feet. And of course, they're like, okay, sure, okay. I mean, you go for a mani-pedi, I guess that's considered, a caste system. Though I'm sure those people make a lot more money than any one of them. You'd be amazed how much money these people make. And sometimes not. I'm not going to get into the semantics of that either. It's just, it could go either way, right? Now, one thing that Samantha does bring up is that, Charlotte is a little right. I'm dating a guy who has an actual servant. Are we using this terminology still? Back then, now, servant. And they're like, really? Next up, we get to see the dim sum that is the servant for Samantha's new beau. And oh, my. It's good. Stay tuned. We get to meet now Samantha's, the guy she's dating, which by the way, sounds very strange to say. we get to meet Harry and his servant, which her name is Sum. Mm-hmm. So this guy is a real estate and works in real estate, and he helped change Chelsea's sweat markets into high-end condos, which back in 1999 was really happening. And if you go to Chelsea now, it's a completely different place. I don't even recognize it myself. Chelsea Market, Google has their main headquarters there. It is completely changing. It's just so funny to hear that now, back then in 1999, that he made a killing doing that. And what it looks like today is a product of what was happening back then. It's just little bits of history that are encapsulated in this show that you don't realize until you really start to delve into it and be like, holy crap. Yeah, that's right. Chelsea Market, Google, the blocks, the high-end shopping. It's a completely different location. Remember, I'm a 1969 baby. The 80s were my formative years and when I really started to get into working downtown. So I remember what Chelsea looked like. It doesn't look like what it looks like now. But what I know then, what I know now, ooh, child, I would have gotten an apartment back then. But we get to meet the servant. Her name is Sum. Okay. And apparently she is from Bangkok and she makes Thai food. And she has a very, an accent. She's like, yes, Mr. Harvey. And would you like some more food, Mr. Harvey? And very distinct. And I'm like, okay. And as she's serving Harvey, she asked Samantha, would you like some spicy, Miss? I don't know what she called her. She just said, do you like something spicy? And Samantha's like, I love spicy. So she gives her the food and she walks away. And Harvey is like looking at her. Isn't she amazing? I don't know what I'll do without her. And Samantha's like, huh? Samantha's not stupid. She knows a red flag when it comes. And he's like, well, it's not about her tonight. It's about you. She's like, yeah, I've been down this road before. Okay. So we get into more of Some later. We'll have some. Mm-hmm. Next, we have Carrie, who is on her computer, and she's narrating that, is New York like New Delhi? Do we have a class and a caste system? And is it possible to date outside of your caste? As she now is with Mr. Big, who has decided to take her out 2 days later after the I love you to the duck ring purse, whoozy wuzzy. And she knows that he knows that she knows that he knows that there's something that's got to give. Because that milk is about to curdle. It's about to go bad. Beautiful restaurant. I wish I knew where it was. I think I know what it is, but I'm not going to throw myself out there under the bus. But I love that very Italian villa kind of outdoor with the vines and all that. I feel like we've been in this villa before, this restaurant before. I remember seeing this before. So, she's saying in the narration that it's been 2 days since she said, I love you, and that Mr. Big has found a way to reciprocate by taking her out. So she thought. So as he is speaking to her and saying, listen, taste the wine. It's from a villa in Tuscany. And I rented this villa with my ex, I'm assuming ex-wife, the one that we found out about in season 1. Yeah, season 1, that he was married and divorced and they had a threesome. You know the one. That one. And he says, in the worst delivery ever, I've always wanted to go with someone that I actually like. So, what? I'm at a loss for words. What is that supposed to mean? So now you're telling the girlfriend that you went with your wife, your ex-wife, and you didn't like her? Ooh. Fine. Then he says to her, there's something that I wanted to tell you since the other night that I gave you that monstrosity of a duck purse. He didn't say in those words, but those are my words and I'm sticking to it. And she's like, yeah, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is life the way it. Even I got excited. I should have known better. Did you like my song? I'm going to keep singing until someone stops me. Listen, he says that if you don't like the purse, You could take it back. And Carrie narrates that's the first time that she wanted to tell Mr. Big, I hate you. Is it? Is it really the first time? And why didn't you bring that duck purse with you to this dinner? Because that would have been the perfect moment to go clock him again in the head. You know, like the first time, like when you got him to actually stay over your house because you hit him. I think that that's a running thing that you need to keep between the two of you, because he no be understanding what you be saying. Well, neither do I, because you barely speak and you expect him to just read your mind. Oh, I don't think I can tell you how much I don't like Carrie and I don't like Big and I don't like Carrie and Big together. We fell into this relationship because we didn't have a choice. But none of these two make sense to me. I don't understand. I don't understand what he sees in her. I don't get it. I don't get what he gets out of it. Like, I truly don't. I know what she gets out of it, but I don't understand why he feels the need to continue to pretend to be this person to her, even through the movie. Ease. I can't say it just like that because he croaked on the first episode. So, there's that. So, next up. What happened to Charlotte? She's become a groupie. What the hell? I mean, I get that they've tried to change her in different ways, but I remember I told you that in the first season that Charlotte goes through these different weird sexual arcs, that she is not so Park Avenue Pollyanna as we all want to remember her to be. She's done some freaky deaky stuff. Even I questioned it. They don't. The next scene we have is now Charlotte, who has become lobotomized yet again in this episode. We are introduced to this guy, who apparently from the narration of Carrie is one of the highest caste systems. The one that, far and wide, East Coast to West Coast, no matter how much money, are revered and loved. The actor. Could that be any less true now? I don't know about you guys, but the death of the actor is so true. I actually had to sit and think, what actor now do I revere that I would want to meet no matter what? Especially after I saw what the hell happened in this episode. And I could not think of anyone off the top of my head that I actively follow, that I actively want to go and meet and see their movie. Like, now, back then, yeah, we followed a lot of actors, so I can understand what it was like back then to like totally be in love with an actor. Not this one in particular, because he looked high as a kite, but I could see that. Probably the one I would think of the most that I would like to meet, but I'm not like, well, I have a crush on him a little bit. Chris Hemsworth. Thor. Chris Hemsworth. Would love to see him in person. He's hot. And that's it. And Chris Evans, when he's playing Captain America in the Marvel movies. Robert Downey Jr. I have a profound respect for him because I followed him in the 80s when he was part of the Brat Pack. And I'm very happy that he's made it through that. It took me a while to come up with those three. Trust me when I tell you. So as he's standing in front of one of the exhibits, it says Stephen Miller over it. Charlotte, you see my face, right? Because this is going to come up. Charlotte goes to introduce herself and he says, yes, my name is Riley Ford. And she goes, yes, I know. And he's like, how much for this piece? The fire extinguisher. And she goes, this piece? No. This is a real fire extinguisher, in case the gallery has a fire. Now, I was confused too. I clearly thought that was part of the art exhibit. It did say Stephen Miller over it. I can totally see how this guy, who looks like he's high as a kite, can misunderstand when people like me who have eyes and are not drunk or high thought the same thing. Really? And he's like, oh my God, you must think of me as a fool. Yeah, you're more than just a fool. You're a ding dong. Oh, I'm sorry, doofus. Ding dong are for the girls. She's like, no, no, it happens all the time. You want it? You can have it. You can probably say it was a Jeff Koons. What? I don't know who this girl is, but Charlotte's lost her mind. Okay. And he goes, oh, you're adorable. How about you close up early? And it didn't even take her 2 seconds to look around. And the next thing we have is they're in his limo making out. And he is calling her. He says to her, oh, I cannot wait to get you in bed, Charlene. And she's like, Charlotte, my name is Charlotte. He goes, I like Charlene better. Oh my God. No red flags? No, Charlotte, where are you? Where you be? And he's like, oh, the champagne is going through. Hey, bud, stop somewhere. I need to go take a leak. Okay. As he jumps out of the limo to go take a leak in, the wall of a street in New York, public urination acceptance. We've done this before, haven't we? Charlotte calls Carrie. Sorry, I had to grab something to eat before I recorded again. I do apologize for that. She calls Carrie and she says, you never guess who I'm with. I'm with Wiley Ford in the back of his limo. I'm about to have sex. What? She's admittedly just going to go ahead and just have sex with this maniac who calls her Charlene. And Carrie is like, okay, where is he right now? He's outside taking a leak. Isn't that cute? What the hell? And Carrie is like, okay, do me a favor. Get out now. Thank God Carrie had the presence of mind. Did Charlotte listen? Or Charlene? No, neither one of them. Neither personalities listened. Okay? She goes, no, I'm going to do this. Okay, all my rules just fell out of the window. And, I'm like, yeah, they did. And she's like, it's like, I have to listen to him. I have to obey. Where? We never see this Charlotte again. Not that I can recall. If it comes up again, we're going to remember this video. She went overboard, okay? Because he is disgusting. He gets back in the limo and they start making out again. He doesn't clean his hands. That doesn't disgust her. She's throwing herself on top of him as he's trying to get on top of her. That doesn't disgust her. This whole scene was unbelievable. But it gets worse. Next, we have the scene with the servant, Sam. So as, Harvey, who I don't know why Samantha is dating him because we never hear anything about him. Do I have something in my hair? Oh, my apologies. We never hear what's the fascination with this guy because normally we always see her in and out of people, men. You know what I'm talking about. He is saying, you could stay here and someone's going to make you breakfast. And she's like, oh, you don't have to. He goes, no, she loves doing that. Uh-huh. Oh. And as he starts to mimic the breakfast order, he's like, she's going to love this. He walks out. Summer's out there. And she's like, have a nice day. Oh, he says to her, make sure you take care of my Samantha. And she's like, have a nice day, Mr. Harvey, in her Bangkok voice. And then he walks away. And that look, do you see what's happening here? She scared me. I didn't know what was coming back then, but she scared me. She flies open the doors and she says to Samantha in a very English tone, American tone, all right, lazy bones, time to get out of bed. And Samantha's like, oh, hello? She's like, she rips the pillow out from under her. She starts taking the blankets off of her and she's like, should I have my breakfast in bed? She goes, breakfast? I don't have time for breakfast. I have a lot of work to do. And she rips the covers out from Samantha. And that's when Samantha realizes that some may not be as subservient as Harvey thinks she is. When I heard her speak in that American accent, I was like, ooh, now we have a show. I love when they do this. They just throw in these things that you don't expect. You're like, yeah, baby. Next up, what the hell is Miranda's problem? And I say this with all due respect for all women who have money. Let's get into it. When you have a chance, if you're enjoying this And you really want to follow me and be continuously updated with all my wonderful content on this? Yes, you could do one thing. Subscribe. They do. As we left Charlotte getting her groove on with the most disgusting actor I've ever seen in my entire generation, that afternoon, during her lunch break, Miranda has decided to take Steve out shopping, as Carrie narrates. Miranda's taking Steve out shopping for a suit for her annual corporate dinner or soiree, whatever the hell is going to happen. And, you know, he's looking at the suit. He goes, it's amazing how amazing I look in this suit. And she's like, you look great. And she tells the tailor to, you know, put a break in the pant and with a cuff, whatever. And he's like, are these going to be the shoes? So again, the shoes are part of the ensemble that he's got going on there. And she goes, I think we should take the shoes. There's a lot of we in this statement, you know, a lot of parlez-vous français. There's a lot of we happening here. Okay. And he's like, I guess we're taking the shoes too. And that's when he realizes that the suit alone is $1,800. And he starts to panic. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, I better not get anything on this. And then Miranda goes up to him and says, let me buy this for you. It's my treat. And he's like, no, you're not buying me a suit. Okay. Before we get into the next scene, full stop. Number one, at no point did you not discuss with Steve that you were taking him shopping and this was going to be your treat before you go into the store and embarrass him like that? What the hell? I don't care what year it is in. You don't do that. Okay? Now, granted, there's a lot of guys, the ones that are growing up now. I would say my son is 30, so that's about the cutoff point, right? He's a millennial. Is he a millennial? I think I'm a millennial. I don't know which one it is. I know that 30 is a certain group, and anything under 30, there's the new generation that's coming up. Y'all correct me in the comments. They love when women buy them things. They have no shame in that game. Okay? They don't care. They love it. They are open to it. They're receptive to it. You know, my son is from the old school. He still takes me out to dinner and pays for it. You know, he takes a chair and, you know, puts me in it, literally. My son is a gentleman. He'll open the car door. He will not let me pay for anything. Now, it's not to say it was always like that, because there was a time my son was going through his period. Not period physically menstrual. He was just starting out at his new job that he's doing amazing in right now and making really good money, very good money. And I was still giving him the support that he needed just to get him through some of the rough patches until he was able to get into the situation that he's in right now. So, and I took care of him. I'm a single mom, you know, but now that he is well off and he's taken care of, my son makes sure that I'm taken care of as well. And I cannot be more blessed to have a child like that. Now, what's happening here is utterly ridiculous. You cannot go and tell your boyfriend at any point, my God, I'm going to take you shopping and I want to buy you a suit, so you could at least nip it in the bud right there in his reaction, not do it in front of these people and embarrass the shit out of him. Not good. So they're at the counter and the cashier says, your card was declined. Do you have another card? Poor Steve. He's like, listen, let's do this. Put $800 on this card. I'll give you the cash of $1,000. Oh, I'll write you a check for $1,000 and then I'll give you the rest in cash, you know, to cover the shoes. And freaking Miranda's like, how about my card? You know, and he's like, no, because then if you do this, she goes, I wanted to do this for you. He goes, no, because then you start to feel like you're my mother and these things are going to start to get awkward. You think? Listen to your man in front of the cashier too. She's whipping out her credit card. She's saying, use my card. And he's like, let me just buy the freaking suit on his own with his $800 credit card, $1,000 check and cash. Oh, that is so not good. Tell me how you felt about that one. Because to me, that was very awkward back then. Because me and my girlfriend was like, whoa. That's not even good. Not even like, no. And as I rewatch it and rewatched it and rewatched it, that thing still hurts me when I see that. And it's not about her having more money than him. It's not about the class or the caste system or whatever the hell the tagline is for this episode. It's just a matter of respect, you know? And yeah, maybe it is different. Like if it was Carrie going out with Big, he would have whipped out his card and she would have never whipped out anything. Have you ever seen Carrie buy anything other than the honeymoon that she had for her wedding that never happened? Because that's the first time that I ever saw her pay for anything. If anything, he's always buying her trips and ugly duck purses and TVs and rings and shoes. Closets. Walk-in closets. Very different, right? So I guess a little bit of what Charlotte says is very different when a man has money versus a woman having money. And I stand by that now. Like I have the presence of mind that if I were to be dating someone that had less money than I would, first of all, I wouldn't have invited him. To be honest with you, I wouldn't have invited him. Because if you're letting him take you out to pizza because you know he doesn't have any money and you see the gold suit in his closet, how'd you think this was going to go down? Miranda. Next, we get to see Carrie flirting with someone other than Mr. Big. They do. We are invited to a cocktail party on the Upper East Side of Park Avenue, where we meet this one. I think her name is Serena Bush, who, to me, the only thing I can remember is that she is wearing no underwear. Do you see what's happening in that dress? She looks disgusting and a little neurotic as she is walking around her Park Avenue apartment, telling people, no, be careful, white rug. And she's just like looking around and she looks high out of her mind. Why is everybody high in this episode? Why? Okay. So as Carrie and Big walk into this, Park Avenue, no underwearing woman that Big knows and Carrie knows, because Carrie knows her from when she was famous for her husband's money. And then she knew her before that when she was famous for her father's money and her drug dealer. That's what I said. She looked crazy. They walk in and she says, oh my God, Park Avenue. It's like I'm in a different country. I hate it. Didn't they move to Park Avenue in the movie? Wasn't Park Avenue one of the best places that she wanted to move? Either Park or Fifth, which by the way, they look exactly the same, money-wise. So whether it's Park or Fifth, it's the same thing. I just found it funny when I heard it this time. I'm like, didn't you buy an apartment up there with your walk-in closet? The one that you murdered your husband in? Sorry, ranting. And just like that, reboot, hate it. So, Big is like, I've known her for a long time. She's cool. And as they're walking around, Carrie's narrating that she's looking at all of the other women in their purses who happen to be as ugly as her ugly duck purse with fruits and vegetables. And she's saying that she realized at that moment that Mr. Big doesn't know anything about her. Well, of course he doesn't, because you never open your freaking mouth. You internalize everything and you never tell him how you truly feel unless you're cold clocking him outside of the bedroom. Sorry, ranting again. So they go up to a waiter, or a waiter comes up to them and he goes, what do you like? And they're given the order. And, the waiter says, I'm sorry. I think Carrie asked for red wine or something like that. And he goes, I'm sorry. Miss Crazy Person with no underwear does not serve anything brown, only white. And the look that these two gave him, they were like, sure. Okay. And a gin and tonic, I guess. It was the funniest look. I'm glad that they both looked at him like, what? That was a good delivery of a look. And then now Carrie's taking out a cigarette from her duck purse. I find it fascinating that no matter what size purse that she has, she always has room for a cigarette as she's trying to smoke inside a Park Avenue apartment without permission because everybody else is not smoking. Read the real. She has an addiction. She really, truly does. Like, that's just disrespectful. Like, I don't care what you tell me. You mean, no. So as she's trying to light it up, the crazy person with no underwear Oh, hello, sweetheart, to Mr. Big. Anytime you put sweet and heart together, it's not good. And Carrie's like, oh, really? I didn't know it was like that. She looks at her, and he says, I'm so glad that you had us here. He goes, crazy woman, you know Carrie. She goes, yes, I do. She knows why. Drug dealer. And she's trying to light up her cigarette. She goes, no, no, honey, no smoking. She's like, oh. She goes, terrace. And that Carrie looks at her and goes, well, then that's what I will be. And she walks away and she says, and just like that, I was cast out of the Park Avenue apartment. I'm picking up the tone of the and just like that and why they used it in the reboot. Next up, we have Charlotte, who is still fanboying over actor Disgustington. Okay? And she's at a restaurant and they're all smoking a doobie. And she's just questioning, hey, when did it become legal to smoke this in a restaurant? And, Disgustington actor says, oh, it hasn't. So he's just able to light up and do whatever he wants because he's an actor. And you wonder why people don't respect actors anymore. You wonder why. This is why. This is a big part of the reason. And he looks at her, he goes, you want some? She goes, no, I don't smoke. I don't smoke that. He looks at the crowd and then he kisses her with the smoke still in his breath to pass it on to her, puff, puff, choke. And she starts literally choking on the smoke. That didn't scare her. She still stayed there. Charlene. Where's Charlotte? Now we get Samantha and the servant. So as she's having dinner with Harry or Harvey or whatever, or Ugly, because this guy is not attractive at all, and we still don't know why she's with him other than the fact that I don't know why. So some comes up and is talking to them. Well, not even. She lays down the food, and I'm going to remember this. Forgive me because I'm trying to replay it in my head. As Some walks away, Samantha tells Harvey that, Some was very rude to me the other day. She practically threw me out of bed. Harvey says, no, you misunderstand. Her English is not that good. And as he's about to speak, he goes, shh, because she comes back. I think he's even scared of this crazy maniac. And she turns to Samantha and with the plate of asparagus, more asparagus, miss, in her accent, completely devoid of her American accent. Samantha looks up and Carrie narrates, that was the moment that Samantha realized that Some was not as dim as she appeared to be. Dim Sum, there you go, the new flavor. I had to bring it in somewhere because it was hilarious. And she walks away and she realizes that she has a pickle in her hand. Best line ever. Wasn't delivered by Samantha, but the look she gave alone to Harry or Harvey or Ugly, whatever that guy is that I never hear about again, was priceless. Now, Carrie and her smoking chronicles. Yes, they don't. Carrie and the bullfrog. As Carrie is outside on the terrace smoking her cigarette that she never fails to find a way to do, she's narrating that she realizes that relationships have a caste system as well. It's the one that says, I love you first, and then the one that doesn't respond back. So then we get this one, Jeremiah, who was a bullfrog. And if you know the song, you know what I mean, because every time I hear that name, I sing that song, is a friend of hers. And he's like, oh my God, Carrie, blah, 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 what are you doing here? And they're both smoking a cigarette outside on the terrace. And apparently from the narration of Carrie, Jeremiah is a performance artist as he takes out a rose from his wrist, which AKA means a magician. And that he's only there doing some cater waitering or whatever the hell he's doing there and smoking a cigarette. And they always had a mild flirtation. And he asks, who are you here with? And first he says, you don't know these people, right? She goes, no. Well, who are you here with? Some guy, the one that she ends up marrying and then murdering. Sorry, interjecting my own feelings. And he says, hey, I got something to show you. I have a tattoo. And she's like, oh, let me see it. And he is showing her the tattoo on his stomach. And she's like, is that real? Well, yeah. Do you think that someone's going to be painting on the tattoo every single day? And she goes, how far does that go? And he goes, pretty far down. Why are you asking, Carrie? Why? You're asking. What is the purpose of this? What you doing, Carrie? What you doing? As she leans over to look how far down this tattoo goes down from his navel to his nether region, the scene showing as if she is very comfortably supplying him with pleasure. You have crazy naked lady as we see this, and she's like, oh, excuse me. And it did look like what I think it looked like. Okay. It was not a very good position for none of them. She flips her hair and walks back into the room, and they both say, oh shit. Carrie goes back into the room as, crazy naked lady is talking to Big, and you know what she's saying. Big walks over to her and says, excuse me, were you really giving a BJ to the caterer? And she goes, first of all, he's not a caterer. He's a very famous performance artist, magician. And he goes, well, I don't care what it is. And that doesn't answer my question. She goes, because it was offensive. Was it though? Was it? And he's like, well, whatever it is that we were doing, could you please stop it? Because you're embarrassing me. Natasha. I'm just saying. And she goes, I'm embarrassing you. You're embarrassing me. Why are you not on the terrace with me like a gentleman? And he's like, what the hell? And he's like, why don't we just go? And she goes, no, you go. I'm having a good time. She is such a pain in the ass. First of all, she doesn't like it there. And now she wants to stay there to spite him as she's faux BJing the performance artist, cater waiter guy. Really, Carrie? What are we doing here? Okay. And that look that he gives of exhaustion is exactly the reason why season 2 ends up the way that it does. And then we're tortured for the next 5 seasons. Next. Miranda. Miranda is late for her dinner. And the door rings, the door opens, and we have Steve shows up, not in a suit. And she asks, why are you not dressed up? And he goes, I'm not going. I had to get the suit back. It was too expensive. Got it. She goes, well, why didn't you let me pay for it? He goes, listen, I'm going to paraphrase this. Okay. He says that she needs to be with someone on her level. And she's like, F the suit. He goes, listen, I was at that place and I didn't feel good about myself. I'm always going to have something that's just out of my reach. Okay. And I understand that it was embarrassing, right? We can sympathize with that. And she goes, well, are you breaking up with me because I'm more successful? I'm being punished. And he goes, I don't see it that way. I think that you're a great person. And, she's like, well, fine. She gets upset. She goes, thank you for the information. Thank you for breaking up with me. And she slams the door on him because, it's over. And she feels that she's being punished for being successful. And an hour later, she's standing in a sea of suits, questioning how bad could have been with the corduroy suit, questioning her decision to even buy the suit and go through this whole thing. Me, personally, yeah, a corduroy suit would have been ugly and it would have been bad. So I go back to what I said. Don't even ask him to come if you already know that he's unable to buy it. Just say, okay, honey, don't worry about it. That's it. Know your limits. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. My opinion. I know everybody else is going to have their own opinion, but that's how I felt. Next up, Charlene. Our Charlotte is now a groupie. She is bringing drinks over to the Disgustington actor. And she goes, who ordered these drinks? And she goes to sit back down and Disgustington, actor, tells her, hey, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to the ladies' room and take a finger and stick it up your vajayjay and then come back and then let me smell it. Okay. Charlotte laughs and she goes, I'm not going to do that. And she gets up, and Carrie narrates that she realized at that moment that if she had gone any further, that she would have gone to become untouchable. That finally disgusted Charlene, out of her. And she leaves. Well, at least we got Charlotte back. She had a moment. I wouldn't be proud of that moment. There was nothing about that moment with that guy that I would want to write home about, tell my kids, tell my husband, my boyfriend, write an article. None of it, other than maybe something like a disgusting article about him, how this guy is. Yay, Charlotte is back. You know, the Pollyanna Park Avenue girl. Thank God. I never thought I'd miss Charlotte so much until this episode that we get tortured, but I don't want that Charlotte ever again. Ever. Now we get into the juicy bits and ending tale stories of the rest of the ladies. Well, there's only 2 left, but it's pretty big. So stay tuned. Carrie and the bullfrog. As it is being narrated, Carrie is walking down towards her townhome, or brownstone, I should say, and Jeremiah got fired, you think, and that they celebrated downtown with a couple of pictures of Margarita as she's singing. Jeremiah was a bullfrog because no matter what, like I said, I hear that name and I sing the song too. And they're both worst drunk acting ever, trying to figure out which of the brownstones are Carrie's. And all of a sudden, you hear that as she is trying to get to the first one, it's not the right one. She goes to the second one, and Carrie narrates that was the last thing that she remembered, trying to get into her brownstone. Next, we have Samantha and the sum that's not so dim. As we see them, her and Harvey, finishing up their relations in the boudoir, I still cannot understand what is she doing with this guy. There is no context to this at all. Samantha doesn't date, and that guy is fugly. You know what fugly is? Figure it out. Effing ugly. She's like, ah. And he's like, I'm going to go take a shower. You just relax. And she goes, yes, I know. And as we see his ugly buttocks going into the shower, Sum comes in literally right after he gets out of bed. I don't know. She must have been waiting outside. And Samantha's like, excuse me. And the woman goes around to the bed side table and takes the condom. And she goes to Samantha, you dirty, in her English tone, you dirty, sea-sucking whore. Samantha's like screaming, okay? She throws the condom at her. The woman is pulling the sheets out. And all of a sudden, as she's pulling Samantha, she fake falls onto the floor. Harvey comes out of the shower and he goes, what is going on here? Well, it's about time you heard what the hell the ruckus is going on in your freaking bedroom, you ding dong. Doofus, sorry. And Sum is on the floor crying, faux crying. I was in her now Bangkok accent. Mr. Harvey, I was trying to wash the seats and this woman hit me. And Samantha's like, oh, come on. And he's like, how dare you? And she's like, give me a break. Let me explain. As she is hugging, Sum is hugging her man's. He goes, there's no excuse for that. I want you to leave. And Sum is looking at Samantha like, like you said, I'm not so dim. And Samantha realizes at that moment that there was only one room in Harvey's life, one woman for him, which was her. Okay, room for one woman. Good. I still don't understand the relationship complex here of her and this guy, because this is completely out of the norm for Samantha. And Samantha finally got fed up and she left. But at the end of the day, some is going to get more than her dim. Okay. Because if you think that that was the first time that she has done this, or the first time that she is going to do this, she is going to get her mans one way or another. So any sucking whore that comes in there is going to get the same dim sum reaction. It's just going to take a little while before Harvey realizes that he got the sum sucked out of him because she's got an agenda. Good for you. Calling her a servant. What the hell? Now, it's the next morning and the phone rings in Carrie's apartment and she wakes up with a hangover, apparently, from the pictures of margaritas that she had with Jeremiah. Do you understand that a picture of margarita? I can't even do one apple martini without having a heart attack. Okay. She had to be really drunk. So it's big. And he goes, listen, I know what you're really upset about the other night. And I just have to be able to say it in my own time. Typical. Did you expect anything less from him? And then all of a sudden he blurts out, I effing love you. Okay. You know I do. Words that every woman wants to hear, said no one ever. And I just blocked out the rest of it. He goes, he says, it's just very hard for me to say it because I always get in trouble every time I say it. No red flag still? Are we still pretending that this is exactly what a woman wants to hear? I effing love you. You know I do. And every time I say it, I get into trouble, so I have to say it my own way. Great job. Great job, Mr. Page. You two belong together. You do. You really do. And he goes, are we okay? As she's holding the mouth of Jeremiah, who woke up as well, so that Big doesn't know that she's in bed with him. Okay, let's just not forget about Jeremiah, the bullfrog. Okay, she goes, yes, we're good. I'll call you later. And I love you too. How these two ended up together is a mystery to me. And he goes, okay. And they hang up. And she looks at Jeremiah and she has to ask him, hey, did we? And he's like, yeah, no, we didn't. How? Drunk? Listen, I know there's going to be people out there that have experienced this, that you're so drunk out of your mind that you don't even know if you had sex or not. And I just say that I have never been in that position ever. Ever. But I'm not judging you. It's just, that's a very scary position to be in. And she goes, oh, I thought not. And as she narrates onto her pillow, she felt awful. And that she never told Mr. Big. Because she figures anything before I love you doesn't count. How we justify the tangle web we deceive. Oh, I'm sorry. The tangle web we practice to deceive. Most romantic I love you I've ever heard in my entire life. It's a wonder how they didn't get together sooner and get married. Next up. Epilogue. Hey, stay tuned. And when you have a chance, if you've liked this already and you want more, subscribe. Epilogue. Well, I've pretty much interjected a lot of the feelings that I've had. And again, this is a mix between 1999 when I was watching this originally. I didn't know the extent of all these relationships, Steve. I had no idea the character of Charlotte at that time because she flip-flopped so many times in season 1 to season 2. And this disgusting, episode of her, having to be taken over by an actor that she has to obey was completely out of character. I didn't realize it then because, of course, I'm watching it new. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this again. What the hell was that with Samantha? Samantha doesn't date. Now, I think that they interjected this only to give that line that that some is not so dim to coin that phrase, which was great. But it was just, other than Carrie, everybody was completely out of character. Okay. Charlotte, Samantha, what the hell? And then, Steve and Miranda, he breaks up with her because of the way she made him feel about buying him a suit, which was completely wrong on her side. Not the gesture, but the way that she presented it to him. Give him the option to reject it in private, the two of you. And, she uses this badge of, this armor. Oh, you're punishing me because I'm successful. Then don't throw it in your face like that. Have some decorum. Do it a way that you can both agree that maybe this is not the right way to do it. And maybe you don't take him to the damn party, right? I mean, come on. This was Darren's star. So there is a different tone. This is the first time that I noticed Darren writing the characters in ways that I had not been accustomed to. And there's not a lot of writing left with Darren. I don't think he comes back for season 3. But we'll keep track of that. That Jenny Bix as well. But this was a little bit out of norm, especially when you rewatch it and you go through the history, you kind of pick up on these things, especially now that we're doing this, in-depth review. It stands out as something that I don't remember feeling that the characters were so out of place so much so in this episode. This one stood out to me, and I'm going to be very, very hyper-focused on the rest of them that come in and see if we go through this rendition again, because I don't believe we do. I know that Samantha does get into a relationship with someone else, but it's a very different tone, very different setup, right? So I do respect that. What I did find fascinating is that I am also noticing the catchphrase, and just like that. I think that she's using it more often now as we start getting more into the other parts of the episodes, and how it ties into the reboot, which is, to me, the only thing that really ties into the reboot is 3. The downfall of Steve and Samantha, Jesus Christ, Steve and Miranda. We go through this entire arc with them and we fall in love with them, and, that happens. And then, Big and Carrie, which I still don't understand how they even got together. It's a foreign mystery to me. And, and just like that, the loss of Samantha, which brings in the humor and the other elements that were missing from the reboot, because they gave her the best lines. And again, like I said, it's not just about the lines, it's the delivery, because she knew how to deliver a line, whether it's heartfelt, funny, quirky. Kim Cattrall, she deserves all the kudos that she needed to get, and then some, with dim sum. You like that one, right? Yeah, baby. Charlotte, I don't understand Charlotte. I don't. I actually don't. So you let me know if this was one of those weird one-off kind of episodes for you too, because it really resonated with me now that this is not the norm, and I'm really paying attention to that. Like, how did you feel about that? And we all know how we felt about the reboot and how it doesn't connect and how it connects and all the stupid stuff that they do. We're going to continue doing that because that's why we're doing this. We're trying to understand what happened. What happened? What happened? Because for all the one-offs and the quirky episodes, there was something there. And we're still loving it, right? Right? Am I alone? Hello? So, we're at number 10. We have 8 more episodes to go before we hit the year 2000. And I do my rewind of the year 2000, which I actually enjoy doing that. I like giving that little bit of history when we open up the series. For all those who are new, what I do is that every new season, I give a little bit of history of what happened in the year of, I did it for 1998. I did it for 1999, and I will continue doing this until the series ends. If you haven't caught any of those videos, please do so in my playlist. I've also separated the season 1 review of Sex and the City separate from the playlist. You can check it out on my YouTube page, or you can go through the playlist that I link here at the end screen and watch everything that's in between in the reboot and here. And I would appreciate that. And the most appreciation you can show me, as I said before in the opening of this thing, to help me get to 1,000 subscribers so we can move forward and I can continue bringing this to you. For those who don't know, and I've said this before, I know these turn out to be just an hour for you, but for me, it's not an hour. Between recording the clips, trying to remember all of the things, because again, I don't script this. I go off my memory, and to do the editing alone, it's a 2-day process. The editing takes about 7 hours, believe it or not. But between recording, uploading, and everything else, it's a 2-day process. So my appreciation to me would be that you subscribe, help me get to 1,000 subscribers so I can hit the YouTube monetization, which is very close. I'm at 967. So I got like 37, 38 more subscribers to go before I'm even eligible. Doesn't mean that I'm going to get it, but at least I'm more eligible. And that I can bring these more to you every single week. It has been a bit of an exhaustion for me because I've been trying to do 3 videos a week, but I don't think I can continue doing that in the next couple of weeks. So I do apologize if I have to reduce it to 2. It's not you guys, it's me. This really was exhausting because for those who don't know, again, I'm still in the process of getting my transition into my new life. I'm moving, and I didn't realize how much crap I have. And just like that, I got to get rid of it. And it's an everyday process. And when you're living somewhere for 15 years, you realize how much crap you actually accumulate. By the way, I never want to do this again. I am a minimalist. I hate having stuff. You don't understand. But I have become so ingrained in this place that I've been living in that I've made it more of my home, and it isn't. And where I'm going will be my home. And I am happy to get rid of crap. I wish I can donate all of this to you guys, what I have, but you guys live so many different places, and I have so much stuff that the time it would take for me to actually pack everything up and send it to you guys would be astronomical. So I'm looking for some place to donate it. I don't want to do the Salvation Army because I haven't heard too many good things about it, but I'm looking into places I can get this stuff donated that's more geared to women who are single parents, domestic abuse situations, things like that. I'll let you guys know which one I pick. Hopefully I'll find it by next video. But other than that, thank you. I appreciate you all. And I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you continue to enjoy this. We're going to get deeper. It's going to get longer as far as the seasons are going to go. But I'm here for the long haul. And I hope that you guys are too. So I want you from here to around the world that I am reaching, everyone, have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed day, week, month. Next Friday, Halloween, is my birthday. Get ready. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Mwah.